Now, Erica, we could start that way. That's a possible way that we start today. But, Erica, the folks out there want to know, will we play the thing we play on a Monday? Should we play it, Erica? Mutified, Erica, but I'm going to take that as a strong yes.
Strong yes, yes.
Well, it's Monday. We're back again.
It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party! It's Monday, boys and girls, let's party!
And you know what else? She's not even here, but people are demanding. We got to have the Carol song. We got to have the Carol song. Folks, we'll give you the Carol song. Fine.
This is my Carol song. It is 8 seconds long.
Now, as we cross over the 100 mark, folks, I just want to let you know that Culture Casino will be joining us shortly. Culture Casino will be here. He's hopping in right now, getting his network connections ready to go. And folks, you may notice I don't have the Pro Show cup, the mug, with me right now. It is being washified in preparation for another week of excellence right here out of somewhere sunny USA. Erica, what do you have to drink today?
My usual, my Sam's Club Colombian blend with heavy cream and half and half. And I added my collagen and peptides to it.
Hey, go collagen and peptides. Way to go. A little creatine extra would do a lot of good. Folks, it's time for Click It and Sip It. You click the like button. We'll take a sip together. Of course, having just come back from Southeast Game Exchange, don't judge me for my Starbucks, please. 3, 2, 1. Click it and sip it with us. Delish. All right, folks, it's time to give you the Disney dish today. Before we do, I just want to let you know, MJ will not be here today. She'll be back next week. MJ is doing some fun stuff. And also, Ron is in transit from Southeast Game Exchange, but Culture will be joining us. And if we hit the Super Chat goal today, Culture Casino will be talking to us about everything Southeast Game Exchange, what happened, what went down, the fun stuff, the bad stuff, everything that makes you smile and frown. And really, it's all smiles. It's going to be a lot of fun. Culture will be here just momentarily. Let's see what the Super Chats say. Juliet for 5. Evening, that Park Place and chat. Well, good evening to you, Juliet. And Packy Protons is out there. Member for 2 years on the money. Member for 2 years exactly. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you out there. That's a great thing. 2 years. 2 years for Packy. It says, let Ghost Adventures film there. Already Disney. Yeah, it's going to be a disturbing topic today. You know, folks may not even be clicking on the stream today. They may look at it and say, what the heck is this? I'm not... Deaths at Disney are out of control. What? Maybe YouTube will suppress us. I don't know. But what I can tell you is that, well, we're going to talk about a real problem. A real problem. Packing, since it's your 2-year birthday, what should we play? What should we play for a 2-year birthday? I wouldn't punish somebody with the fizzle. What about the spritzel?
It's a super spring spritzel. Pedro's big year has Disney dropping. It's a super spring spritzel. Take down Star Wars, Avengers, oh please.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Erica, have you heard that the Avengers trailer is out there? Have you heard about that?
No, not yet. It's the first. I'm just now hearing about it.
Yeah, Avengers trailer came out this morning. And folks, if you'd like to know how much we know what's going on in the industry, take a look at what we released this morning on the Pro channel. Go ahead. If you want to know, does Pro know what's going on? Is Pro really connected to the industry? Go look and see. Because this morning, nobody knew the Avengers trailer was going to release. Supposedly. Nobody knew, Erica.
Now you got me looking it up.
And yet an hour before Disney released the Avengers trailer, we were covering the Avengers on the Pro channel. Just out of the blue, everybody said, what are you doing? Why are you not covering the Odyssey? You're crazy, man. You're crazy. The Odyssey is everything. That's all anybody wants to talk about. Released it an hour before Disney releases the trailer. How did we know that?
Wow.
How did we know that? Almost like we have sources.
I'm not going to ask. I feel like you'd have to kill me if I asked.
And, you know, we wouldn't kill you, Erica, but you might disappear. You might disappear.
Hang me from my toes.
We would never do such a thing. Never, I say. Folks, it's going to be a great day today. Culture Casino will be joining us in just a few, and we're going to be talking about some really important stuff. We're going to kick it off, actually, with the important stuff. But I do want to say to everybody out there who's freaking out about the Odyssey, stop freaking out about the Odyssey. Okay? We covered this yesterday twice, 2 videos. The Odyssey is selling the same number of tickets as The Mandalorian and Grogu. And nobody knows this. Nobody's talking about this except us. Erica knows this. The audience here knows this. Some of our friends out there, some of our conservative and centrist commentators, they're trying to figure out how they get on the bandwagon of the Odyssey because they're terrified. They're scared to death that somebody is going to stop subscribing to them because it turns out the Odyssey is popular. So they're reversing their positions as fast as they can. Stop it. Stop it, you. The Odyssey is selling the same number of tickets as Mando and Grogu. However, the IMAX ticket price is 50% higher than a regular ticket. Actually, it's 50% higher than the average of all tickets put together, which includes IMAX and PLF. So when you have 50% higher ticket prices, you have 50% higher box office. It's selling the same number of tickets as Mando and Grogu. The numbers look incredible. Go read it on that Park Place. I just got to get that out there because people are freaking out about this and they need to stop. They need to stop. They're overreacting to this and they're falling for the Hollywood trap. All right. All that said, let's get to it. Let's get to the deaths at Disney. Culture will join us when he can. Erica, are you ready to be co-pilot today and to dive into the latest of the House of Mouses?
I am ready, Freddie.
All right. Don't call me Freddie. No, I'm kidding. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem on our hands. Now, not us, of course, but the media at large. Because the media at large is acting very small, and I've had enough of it. And we're going to talk about it right now. What is it? That has pros so upset, angry even, detested? Well, it's this. Out of WESH Orlando, man dies after cardiac emergency on It's a Small World at Magic Kingdom report states. Now, they've run this as an article. Made the news, eh? Local news? Okay, whatever, right? You say. It is local news, right? Somebody died of a heart attack on It's a Small World. And people die of heart attacks. And it's a tragedy every time. It's a tragedy for the family. And it's like doubly a tragedy because you happen to be at Disney World when it happens. You were supposed to be there on vacation. You were supposed to be there making memories as a family. And now you have this tragedy in your family that will always be associated with this. And what a horrible, terrible thing. We hate to lose people. I mean, it's just like, what else is there that's worse, right? And we all know that. We've all had that call that we dread and we never want to hear again, where we get the info that something has happened that's terrible to a loved one, and we were not anticipating it. We never had a chance to grieve prior to it happening, and we know that. So what is it that I hate about this, beyond the fact that it's a hateable situation? We don't want families to go through this. Well, I hate that it's being used to make money. And you say, Pro, who's making the money? Is it Disney making the money? No, Disney's not making money off this. So who's making the money, Pro? A bunch of clickbait nonsense makers online. I'll show you. Brandon Hogan, who we're not claiming is one such person, is writing this. And again, this is a local outlet, so I don't have a problem with this one. Do what you got to do. You're local. Orange County, Florida. A man died in April after suffering a cardiac emergency. In April. They're covering this in July. Why? Because the medical reports, they got a hold of him. Probably did it like a giant FOIA request. A man died in April after suffering a cardiac emergency while riding It's a Small World at the Magic Kingdom, according to a theme park injury report. See, here you go. From the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. This isn't even news anymore. Released Wednesday, the FDACS report includes new data from the second quarter of 2026. In that time, from April to July, Legoland, SeaWorld, and Busch Gardens made no injury reports to the state, while Universal made 4 and Walt Disney made 5, according to the document. Among those latter 5 reports out of Disney World, it stated that on April 24th, a 54-year-old man with a pre-existing condition experienced a cardiac emergency on It's a Small World and was taken to a hospital where he later died. Heart attack. Here's what I have a problem with, folks, and I think you're going to have a problem with it as well. Here's if I search for Disney World death. I did this so you could see the list. WSH, which I have no problem. It's a local, whatever they want to do, okay? Orlando Sentinel. Getting a little bit more broad now. I'm starting to have a problem. State injury report. Man with heart condition dies after Magic Kingdom ride. Fox News. Disney World guest with heart condition dies of cardiac emergency after iconic ride. Why is that headline written that way? So that you wonder, what is the classic ride? Like, did he die on Tower of Terror? Did he die on Rock and Roller Coaster, Space Mountain? Like, you're like, is it dangerous now? the headline is written that way. Newser says guest dies after Disney's It's a Small World ride. Why is it written that way? Well, they want you to wonder, like, did he fall off? Did he collapse? Right? And you can see a tourist turn on one of Disney's gentlest rides ended in tragedy. So they've got different ways that they play this. Allears.net, new report reveals 5 injuries on Disney World rides, including a death. WPEC, which is local, so it's okay. I don't mind the locals, right? And I'll tell you why in just a second. News Nation, man dies of cardiac emergency after riding Disney It's a Small World. AOL, Disney World guest dies after riding It's a Small World. Fox 13 Tampa, whatever. New York Post, Disney World guest 54 died on iconic ride after suffering heart emergency, new report reveals. Who can tell me out there? Who knows why I have a problem with this? Well, let me show you this first. If we go to thatparkplace.com, thatparkplace.com is not covering this at all. See, we're covering the Odyssey, Dean Cain, House of David, Fast and Furious. We cover theme park stuff all the time. Fast and Furious Supercharged closing for good this summer. We cover theme park stuff all the time. Why are we not covering it? Why is, and we'll give kudos, we'll give a shout out, right? Because I run that park place, right? Marvin Montanaro is the editor-in-chief, but, you know, I don't run WDWMagic.com, and look at them. Nothing on it. Not a thing on it. And I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with it. And here it is, folks. I have a problem with this because this is somebody's family. They went to Disney World. This could happen at a grocery store. It can happen in your sleep. It can happen all kinds of places. But it just so happens that while at Disney World, a man had a heart attack and died. And I bet this is a very tragic, private, and personal thing. They've already had the funeral, I'm sure. They've remembered this life. This has been something that is going to sting forever. We went to Disney World, and our loved one passed away. It's going to sting a long, long time. Months later, this family's tragedy is used to get people to click headlines. It's the easiest way for them to get people to click the headline, to click the article so they can get ad revenue, is to make something that is not, it doesn't have anything to do with Disney.
Hello?
It's that now, what do you think about this, Erica, that now we've reached this point where if you die in Disney, then the national news media is going to write all about it. Doesn't have to be a sensational story, but like if you die at Disney or if your grandparents die at Disney or whatever, you're going to be in the national news so that they can get ad revenue. What do you think about that, Erica?
Not really a fan for the same reasons as you. And I don't understand why these, well, you just explained why they're stories, but I guess more on a moral aspect to it. I never understood why people need to write articles about people dying in theme parks. It's life. It happens. These things happen anywhere and everywhere around the U.S. at random times. And Disney's not the first or the last theme park to where sudden death has happened, you know, for medical reasons or not. Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I'm glad you guys aren't following the trends.
It's morbid.
The bandwagon. Yeah,
it's morbid. It's hearse chasing. That's what this is. It's hearse chasing.
God.
Because here's the deal, right? It's not ambulance chasing. It's hearse chasing. Like, I got to worry now. If this were to happen to my family at Disney, which, you know, the chances are exceedingly low. But if it does happen to your family, you're going to be on national news. You know, Grandpa Joe or Grandma Juanita, you're suddenly in the news because it makes them a lot of money. Let's bring in Culture Casino right now. Culture Casino is here to talk with us about this. Culture, what do you think about the idea that the mainstream media, the national news now, anytime anybody dies at Disney, you know, you could fall over. In fact, I've seen stories now, Culture, where people die outside of Disney just so the headline can say, man dies near Disney World. And they don't say, you know, he choked on a rib, or he had a heart attack outside of, or it's at a nursing home. It's a nursing home near Disney, but man dies near Disney. Culture, you're muted somehow. This is very disappointing. I was hoping you would not be. We still can't hear you. We love you, though. And if we could hear you, it would be the most intelligent, esteeming, brilliant thing we'd ever heard in our lives. Still nothing, my friend. Still nothing, my friend.
Yeah.
We got you now. Go ahead, Culture.
Okay. All right. Well, this is not a great microphone, so I'll be switching that in just a moment. But this one is open to the open air around me. So if anybody's around me, they shouldn't talk or breathe or anything. But anyway, I find it reprehensible. I think it's one of those situations that I mean, obviously, people are not with us every single day. We lose people every day, and having to relive that pain, as you pointed out, and as Erica just talked about, is something that we should not all be forced through. You know, we've already had a time to process grief. We're always going to remember, you know, the situation where we lost a family member and under what circumstance that happened. So I think that this being somewhat of a source of news is kind of reprehensible. I don't think, you know, the fact that somebody, you know, had a heart attack or had a medical incident should be covered in this way, in a sensational way, by any outlet. I find that irresponsible and irredeemable to stay on the same, you know, path.
Right, but it's not illegal. And
No.
I'll tell you this, Culture. So I thought when I began researching this story, I thought, you know, well, we're going to take it to, you know, some little websites that have turned this into a business. Because every time somebody dies now anywhere near Disney, they run an article on it. You know, man dies near Disney. Woman kicks shin near Disney, dies of gangrene later in the hospital. Like anywhere they can find a way to put that somebody died at Disney, they do it. And I thought I was going to take on the little guys, right? And then I look and it's Fox News and it's the New York Post. And I'm sorry, but this is a fact of life. It's a very sad fact of life. We hate it. But people pass away, and when people pass away anywhere near Disney, it's not a story. And what they're doing is they're weaponizing the grief of these families in order to get $15, $20, $100 more out of ad revenue. And it's like, come on, people, are we this desperate? Are we this desperate for news? Apparently we are.
It's disappointing. And look, we've been seeing this trend for a while, I think, in news coverage, because again, it does get clicks if you can tie it into something. I mean, look, there is a reality of clickbait out there, and even our local news does it. And again, it's just very disappointing.
But the thing is, okay, so let's say local news, local news tends to be quite the morbid place to go. You know, they got to do what they got to do, but you turn on the local news is about somebody died every single night, over and over and over again, right? Okay. But that's bad enough. But when it's months and months later, and the national news picks it up because, ooh, somebody died at Disney in April. Somebody had a heart attack. Oh, and months later, and you think about this family, right? I hope nobody clips that. It's going to be weird. Months later, this family says, hey, and I haven't even looked up the person's name. I think it's inappropriate. Months later, somebody in that family has to call and say, hey, guys, I need you to know, you know, Grandpa Jones or whatever his name is in the news. We're all in the news because these, you know, Fox and the New York Post and CNN and yada yada, like it's all over the news. Just so you know, you might want to avoid it because it's gonna, you know, it's sad to see it again. And it's like it's just too much. It's just too much. It's like they don't care about these people whatsoever, right? We don't need to know what this person did for a living. We don't need to know who their family is. We don't need to know. We just need to know that they died at Disney so we can make some money. Please help us make money. Please. Like, I wonder, do they wake up every day and they say, okay, it's time to check the obituaries. We got anybody in Disney World? Ooh, we got a story. Oh, man, they died at SeaWorld? God. We can't make a story out of SeaWorld. Get out of here, you. Get me a Disney death. That's how it feels. It's desperate. Erica, your thoughts. I'll give you the final word.
I hate how the headlines, like when you read them, it kind of gives you the feeling that somehow Disney's at fault for these deaths.
Oh, that's the whole, yeah. It's the whole idea on getting you to click it.
And I don't click on them because I'm like, no, I'm not even going to bother because that's not news. People die of medical stuff all the time anywhere. And no.
That's right. All right, folks, that's where we'll leave it. Some say that we never defend the House of Mouse. That's not true. In this case, we're saying, hey, all you journalists, you gumshoes out there, why don't you go find a real story? Quit doing this nonsense. Quit hurting families. It's uncouth. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the crew we've suddenly got here. We've got Lauren Connor joining us right now. We've got Ron Bradley is out there. Ron, I thought you were on the road. What's going on?
I am on the road. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Where are you right now, Ron? Where's Waldo?
We are passing under a sign that says Brunswick, Jacksonville, Macon, something. I don't know exactly where we're at. We're in Georgia. I know that.
Hey, will
I
you
know
do me a
exactly
favor?
where you are.
Hey, when you get down into the Jacksonville area, will you make sure to find a Carol's Meat Market and grab some hot dogs? Carol's Meat Market has the best hot dogs down in the Jacksonville Fruit Cove area, Doctors Lake. We are not sponsored here on That Park Place by Carol's Meat Market, but we would love to be sponsored. And yes, we would make jokes about it if we were.
Sure. Carol's Meat Market.
Where you can find the greatest sausages ever. Hey, Lorne! I see Culture in the background. What's he up to? What's he doing?
We've both been fighting our audio. I have no idea how bad this is going to sound off of these laptop mics, but
You sound great, Lorne. Everything sounds good with you.
great, perfect. It took 20 minutes to figure out what the problem was. So
You look
happy to be
great.
here.
You sound great. And Lorne, even better than that, you have no hat. And Lorne, finally, we can say definitively, Lorne has a full head of hair. Finally, we can put that to bed. We can let it rest. Where's Irate? Irate's always trying to give you a hard time on your follicular fortitude. But Lorne, you look good.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate that.
Just saying. Ron, you showed up. It's true you're on the road. Ron, you're muted. You're muted. Come on now. You got to do the.
Sorry. Yep. There.
Yeah.
I don't want road noise. I don't want background noise. So
I'm trying to be quiet.
Who's
Can
driving
Tom
you
be-
right now? Who's
I'm trying to
driving
be
you?
quiet.
Waldo is driving.
Omega is driving us.
Omega.
Are we allowed to see Omega, or is Omega off screen today?
I got to figure out how to turn the camera around to do that.
Oh, boy.
Real quick. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
We can
Yeah,
hear
really.
you now.
Good. All right, very good.
Omega.
That's the steering wheel, Ron. We see the steering wheel.
The steer-
73, keeping it the right. Okay, they're in a Tesla. We can see that.
Yeah.
All right, they're
I
showing
must
stuff
be
off.
Omega.
All right, Omega is. That's Tom. I know that guy anywhere. That's Tom. Tom F. Moderator extraordinaire. All right, well, folks, if we hit the super chat goal today, we are going to tell you all about Southeast Game Exchange, what happened, what went down, the fun times that were had. Culture Casino is going to do so. If Ron still has a connection, we'll make sure we do that. And fun times were had by all, and lots of big news was made at Southeast Game Exchange. Kudos, by the way, to Real Life Fake Wizard for setting things up there and doing such a phenomenal job. Lots of fires he had to put out, but he did so well. Also want to give a shout out to Valiant Renegade, who was very generous on this trip to so many. And we also want to give a shout out to Critical Drinker, who continues to just be a phenomenal guy behind the scenes and in front of the curtain. He's a top-notch guy in every way possible. So kudos to Critical Drinker. We love he being such a magnanimous person. All right, let's see.
I've got to let Culture know. If you haven't seen it, there's a video. Mexican Iron Man did get your chips.
Good. I hope you
About
enjoyed
time.
them.
About time. All right, folks, we also need to let you know that if you would like to see early access, the video of the panel that I did with Real Life Fake Wizard and Critical Drinker together at Southeast Game Exchange, 3-person panel, it is on my Patreon. Ron was kind enough to send me a clip of it. So we've got 5 minutes of Critical Drinker, Wizard, and me on the panel at Southeast Game Exchange. If you're a member of the Patreon, the Pro Patreon, you've got access to it right now. All right, let's get to the Super Chats. We've got Wolfle McGruffle. He's the crime dog, and the crime dog sent me a signed player card, a NBA player card of Manu Ginobili, my favorite basketball player of all time, Manu Ginobili of Argentina, sent that signed. And that was what blew my mind, is it's a signed card, signed, autographed by Manu Ginobili. Wolfle, that was so kind of you. So kind, so special, and it will be here in the studio. I've got it. We've got to unpack, but it will be here, and it will be on display because that is amazing. I really do appreciate it. Says, if Odyssey does well, I am unsubbing from Jonas. You know, it will be a very big loss for Jonas if you unsubscribe. He's a small fry when it comes to the YouTube thing. He's got to grow a little bit. I talked about the Odyssey at the beginning. I'm not going to talk about it much again, but people are falling for this. This is a trap. I want everybody to know that these headlines, this narrative is a trap. And a lot of our friends are going to fall for it. They're going to dive headfirst in. It's just like culture. I don't know if you fell for this. Do you remember when Amanda Stenberg did her diss track for the Acolyte?
Right. Yes,
and
I do.
Do you remember that I sent out an email to a bunch of our colleagues and I said, do not play this. This is a trap. And you remember they didn't listen and they played it. And immediately she hit them with copyright strikes on their channels and took them down. And I knew, I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I knew as soon as I saw it, I said, wait a minute here. You flew to wherever it was, some sort of, awful ghetto. You flew there from the Acolyte. You filmed this. You got it up on YouTube. You did all that in 24 hours like you're alleging?
Well,
nope.
There are bad actors in Hollywood, and of course they're going to lay traps for the people who are going to be critical of them. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing is worth criticism, and that certain people are not going to appreciate their attempts to destroy culture. And Amanda took advantage of that. Unfortunately, and again, thanks to you, a lot of people didn't get caught up in that trap.
We
So I'm gonna
tried.
say thanks to you, Pro.
We tried. Long Rua's out there for 50,000 didgeridoos, says Hasbro has signed a multi-year deal with Nintendo for Zelda. The rat knew what happened in Doomsday and is fleeing the sinking, burning steamboat. All right, Lauren, you've seen the Avengers trailer. Give us your thoughts on the Avengers trailer, please.
Well, I can say that I watched the video. I did not really hear the audio, so I can't really judge it fully. But what I was able to hear faintly and see, to me, was underwhelming. It was not anything that got me excited. Now, that may change when I can properly hear the audio so that I can get fuller context about what was going on the screen, but it didn't do anything for me. So I will give it a better viewing here in the future, so that I can properly say what my feelings are on it. But at first glance, no, it was just, okay, you're doing another Marvel thing.
That's right. That's right. Another Marvel thing. All right, folks, let's do our thing. And our thing is to bring the truth with capital T to all of you out there. DL Racer dropping $1. And we appreciate it. Every buck matters. And DL Racer, you're one big buck out there. So, all right, let's dive into the next story. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, get ready because here we go, here we go. Let's talk about, is guest satisfaction at Disney actually on the way up? Maybe. Well, would you look at this, folks? Disney Tourist Blog, a website that we love, run by Tom Bricker, says how Disney World is raising guest satisfaction by 15 to 20% with ride and resort reinvestments. Now, is that true? Is there a 15 to 20% increase in guests and how much they're enjoying Disney? If so, that goes a little bit contrary to what we've been seeing and the pattern of lower attendance. Well, let's find out. It says fans may have a hard time believing this, but Walt Disney World has recorded higher guest satisfaction scores as a result of recent reimaginings of resort rooms and rides in Magic Kingdom. Oh, now wait a minute here. Reimaginings of resort rooms. Okay, well, that's interesting. If I was in a bad guest room and you changed it over to be a nice guest room, that would increase the score, I would say, significantly. It says this shares stats, all right. During a recent media event at Walt Disney World, we heard a presentation by leadership about how they reinvest in classic experiences. Okay, so this comes from a media event where Disney is trying to express what they want the media to say. They've been spending hundreds of millions of dollars each year in the parks and resorts. These efforts and expenditures are part of a broad effort to ensure existing experiences receive care to maintain the guest experience. As part of that presentation, Michael Hungen, Imagineering Portfolio Executive for Walt Disney World Resort, Sarah Riles, VP of Magic Kingdom, Kelly Byers Blakely, Head of Operations, and Portfolio Director of Facility Asset Management at Walt Disney World all explained how their teams collaborate on planning and logistics to ensure various projects are executed smoothly. Says there's a big team working on all this, 40,000 cast members. There's bigger and more consequential projects. Although not discussed during the presentation, a prime example of this is the recent Cinderella Castle makeover. Okay. Says, as discussed in how Walt Disney World executed this excellent Cinderella Castle repainting, that project was managed flawlessly. We actually agree on that. I totally agree. Space Ranger Spin, they're saying that this was a big win. I actually agree on that. And they're saying that they're going to see more of this, like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad and Carousel of Progress. Yeah, I think Big Thunder is a mixed bag. I'm not all that impressed with it. I think they slowed the ride down itself, increased the speed of the lift hills to keep it the same ride time. And Carousel of Progress remains as of yet unseen. We've got examples of what's happening to All Stars, yada, yada, yada. All right, so here's what we get to, though. The question becomes, because we can keep going, and Tom is awesome, and I want people to go read all of this. There's a ton to this, but it basically says that people are scoring Disney after their vacations 15 to 20% better than they did in the past. And to that, I'm going to say, and Culture, I'll go to you first on this. It seems like much of this article is about the hotel rooms. And I got to say, you know, if you have a bad hotel room, that's going to be an unfun time. But I think that Disney is trying to boast that they've got their guest satisfaction up. And most people would think, well, that means that the rides are better or the theme park's better. And I think it's because people were having such a bad time at the hotels. And now they're trying to make the mattresses softer, the TVs better. And I'm not sure that's what most people think when they hear guest satisfaction is up. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, again, it's very misleading. Disney is really good at changing the story. They're covering a different story than the one that obviously they want you to think they're covering. They're talking about guest experience in the room. Certainly, guest experience improves when you change the bedding, when you give it a coat of paint, when you put in a Marriott theme, which is what Disney's been doing in homogenizing all their properties. There's no uniqueness in Disney anymore. There was a lot of dilapidated, the rooms in the Pop Century Resort were starting to go downhill. So of course these rooms are going to score better when they get new mattresses, when they get new furniture, when they get a new TV. That's all going to be better. The problem is, what did it really do as far as the resort goes? Well, there's no classic experiences in the resort compared to the classic experiences that you would have in the theme parks. I would say everything that they've done in the resorts, including the area we're looking right now, is a necessary downgrade. There used to be an amazing volcano waterfall that was in the midst of this Polynesian resort that's now replaced with a La Quinta statue. And while the fishing buoy balls that are in there suspended over your head are very colorful and beautiful, the spectacle of this massive volcano with fresh water running in the koi pond, this is very underwhelming compared to what used to be there before.
So let me ask you about this, though. Yeah. You're onto something really important here, Culture. So what we're saying maybe is, one, when you hear that guest satisfaction is up 15 to 20%, you don't typically think, oh, well, they improved the mattresses. But that's what this is. And then the other thing is, if you lower the experience enough that it's actually a huge problem, people are talking about it, then just by doing these sorts of things, you can increase the guest experience by giving guests fluffier pillows. Like, you can increase the what people say about their vacation by 10 to 15 to 20% if you've dropped it low enough that better pillows actually is sufficient to get you there.
Well, and I think it largely distracts away from the fact that, like, the majority opinion for people who've been going to Disney World for the majority of their life at this point, since it opened, way back when in the 70s, I think that those people are experiencing a level of downgrade across the parks, including Frontierland and that area surrounding that, not to mention the Tiana conversion of Doom. People have been getting unnecessarily downgraded through their experiences over the course of the last 5-10 years. And if you all of a sudden are giving them better beds, better quality sleep, of course they're going to be thrilled with that. One of the things we're not hearing about is increased transportation services or any of the other elements that you would think would increase a guest satisfaction. And if anything, they're taking away stuff and claiming that, that's good. People love the fact that we're taking away things, or, people love the fact that we're going to be restricting guest access to certain locations or pools or resorts or any of the other things, which aren't even really the story. It's just Disney is always telling you something different than what the actual experience is for their guests. They want to tell you only the positive side of the negative thing that they're doing.
Now, here's what's interesting to me, Erica, because I have a theory about this. So they got their guest satisfaction scores up, apparently through improving the hotel experience, which people think, well, we're talking about theme parks. And it's like, wait a minute. No, this presentation is about how much better the hotels are for guest satisfaction. So, Erica, I have a theory that we're getting this released now because as soon as they get those score results, they shut down the hotels to non-resort guests, which means that the thing that they're bragging about is now off limits to the majority of guests, which I guess will then lower that score later. So they were like, well, while we got this nice stat, let's go ahead and take that out and get the narrative going a different direction. And then we'll stay quiet about this for the next year while people are frustrated saying, I can't get my beignets or my Dole Whip. They won't let me go back to this thing that's getting a percentage increase. What do you think about that, Erica?
It's an interesting theory. Collect data before you're going to make a decision people aren't going to like, but that's kind of a mixed bag too, because there is a pool of guests that like these new rules. They like the idea that when they're paying $800 a night for a deluxe room, there's going to, quote, be less people in the resorts. I don't know. I kind of question that because I've never heard an grandiose amount of complaints over the years.
I can't wait. Erica, I am so happy that you brought that up. I am legitimately so happy because I have seen a tremendous number, and I'm going to call them shills. I could be wrong. I'm going to lump everybody together. But I have seen people saying, oh, how happy I am that there's nobody in the resort anymore because the stinky, smelly, non-resort people can't come over here. And we needed this. And I see these people posting this, and I think that Disney honestly could come out, and zap you with a cattle prod, and these people would come out and say, oh, it's a jolting experience at Disney these days. You got to try it. Like there's nothing that you could do at Disney that they would not brag about. But what I find fascinating with these people is they don't seem to understand that if there are no people at the pools, if you can't find a person in line for the Dole Whip, the next thing that's going to happen is Disney's going to fire or reduce the hours for the cast members who work these jobs. There is like, and it's amazing to me that these people don't connect the dots and go, okay, wait a minute. So all these jobs that existed because of resort hopping and people getting off the monorail and going to get the Dole Whip, if there's nobody there anymore, there's no need to have those cast members anymore. And the shills don't seem to have figured this out yet, Erica.
No, they're too busy following whatever trend or narrative they want to create. I find it irritating that for years, Disney, in a sense, marketed themselves as being the place that when you stepped on property, you were a guest. It didn't matter. You could visit, you could go anywhere on property you virtually wanted to go. And they were very open and welcoming to that. And I never heard any complaints from deluxe resort guests. It was just understood when you went to Disney, it was going to be busy and it never bothered anybody. Now, all of a sudden it's news. No, I don't believe that. I think I agree with you that maybe there's like a small pool of people that are trying to manipulate, take something out of context, run with a different narrative. But that's just not what the experience has been for me since the 80s. I've only been around since the 80s. So yeah,
I'll tell you, Erica,
narrative out there.
These shills, Disney could have Mickey Mouse come spray them in the face with bear mace, and they would talk about how they cried tears of joy. The latest thing Disney has come up with. Ron, you're a local. This is something that Disney is bragging about, that their guest satisfaction is up for the hotels, and now they've removed most of the guests from the hotels. Ron, what are your thoughts on that, and how are locals responding to these new rules?
Well, locals like myself. I mean, the whole Disney is 40 square miles. It's huge. It's not. It's a small place, and I have brought this point up. I've never been to a place where you can't just walk into the lobby of the hotel on any property, regardless if it's Disney or not. And, I have literally, there's been times when I've stopped off the road. The only place is a hotel, but I'll go into the lobby and there's actually something in the gift shop. Nice there. I want to buy it. I buy something from the gift shop. That happens not just at Disney, but everywhere. But here's the thing, those shills that are talking about, you're right about the reduced hours, because I was actually a part of that. When I was a cast member at Disney, one of the places that I worked at had to cut the days down to 5 operating days a week instead of 7 because there aren't enough people at the resort during the day. And I saw that over and over again. If you don't have people coming in from, let's say that you prevented park guests from going to the Polynesian during, the middle of their day to get some really nice chocolate covered wrapped bacon, or a Dole Whip in a different flavor than what they have at Magic Kingdom. Like, if you're preventing that, you're stopping business. The bartenders will absolutely hate them because they put bars everywhere in the resorts that are going to be completely dead during the day if only resort guests are allowed there. So it just doesn't. It's kind of bizarre.
Bizarre it is. Lauren, your thoughts on the way this works, where we get articles saying that guest satisfaction is up, and then we look at why guest satisfaction is up. It's because of the hotels, not the rides. And then we say, well, yeah, and they ran off everybody who gets to enjoy the hotels. So what are your thoughts on that, Lauren?
They're not complex. I mean, this is something that I would get less worked up about, I think, because if people are reporting higher satisfaction, that is higher satisfaction. Now, how they're getting it, you may say that this is faint praise given what they have taken away. That may be true, but I would be focusing probably more on the ride experience, bringing more people into the park, less on what their pillows are like, and it's not as though for some people they want to stay at the hotels that are on premise to be included in the park experience, but there are alternatives that are likely cheaper that are near the parks as well. So this is something I get less worked up about than I think some others.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we'll leave it there, but let's just say Disney knows how to spin. And they know they've got some friends out there. Tom Bricker, I think, does a great job of being honest, but you can count on a lot of articles from more scandalous, scurvious, and dare I say, less interested in the truth kind of folks who will just report this the way Disney wants. We here will do no such thing. Imagine that. It's back to the Super Chats, and here we go. DL Racer for 5 Pro. I spoke with Sean Flannery, and he will do what he can as far as making time to join the show if you invite. Well, we're sending an invite right now. I'll get Kara and Lauren. You've got the email information, I believe. We'll get that taken care of. Kara will send an invite over to Sean Flannery. Thank you, DL Racer, and I'm looking forward to that trailer premiere coming soon. I'm not gonna say more lest we break something or get ahead of our skis and saying something that you want to hold back for an announcement, but we'll just say that. Dude Man Cuz, who we had a great time meeting at Southeast Game Exchange for $19.99. Thank you, Dude Man Cuz. Safe travels back. Everyone had a great time this weekend. Thank you, Dude Man Cuz. I can't wait to see you again real soon. It was a great time indeed, and we want to say a huge thank you for your generosity right now. What could we do to say thank you? What would be a good way to say thank you for such a gift as $20 and the chance to meet such a groovy kind of guy? How about this one?
I didn't kill Han Solo. Wokeness killed Han Solo.
Thank you, Dude Man Cuz. And it was great to see you. All right, folks. Also, join us for the Pro Show tonight, because tonight we're going to have on a special guest who made some of the stuff from your childhoods. Come check it out. You're going to learn a lot about somebody from behind the scenes who did amazing things. And we had the chance to meet and schedule this guest earlier in the year at a different con. So come on over to the Pro Show. More information coming out. I don't think we're announcing just yet who it is, but that'll be coming out this afternoon. And I know you're going to love that conversation on the Pro channel. All right, Ron, we are not doing the dish today. Is that correct, sir? Ron, are you there?
I may try and go live from the road, but it's a little shaky. So not a regular the dish, and there's no link to it right now. It will be a pop up if it happens.
Okay, folks. So be aware if Ron does the dish, we wish you would check it out, but we will not be able to redirect today due to some of these streaming things and travel plans. But we are making this show happen no matter what, folks, and we appreciate you. Please find Ron if he does do the dish today. Make sure that you find him. All right, folks, let's talk about a topic that is not near and dear to the hearts of Disney. It turns out they're having a heck of a time finding folks to come be friends with them inside their parks. Let's talk about what's going down. Hint, it's attendance.
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park.
Folks, Walt Disney World is having a heck of a time finding the friends to come join them again at their theme parks. And we've got the chart to prove it. Take a look at this out of thrilldata.com. And you're going to love this because, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the average wait times, which we correlate to be the attendance levels. And you might look and see, as we go from 2016 to 2026, that you might say, now, wait a minute, Pro, it's actually better than it was 10 years ago. But that's not exactly true. Let me walk you through what we are figuring out here. Ladies and gentlemen, did you know that prior to the pandemic, there was a thing called free Fast Pass? It was just called Fast Pass, and you could get on the rides, and it lowered the wait time. And then just prior to the pandemic, about 3 years prior to the pandemic, they started rolling out some premium features to Fast Pass, and that began increasing wait times. In fact, you can see right here that these greens down here, when wait times were on average 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and 29 minutes in 2014, 2015, and 2016, this is when free Fast Pass was available. Totally free, no strings attached. You just print off the little paper card and you go get in line. And, well, you don't get in line, you skip the line.
Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy Fast Pass, exactly. Look how much better it was. And then they did away with it. They started going, what was it called, Culture, when they got rid of Legacy? What did they switch to?
Oh, no, they just went to FastPass. It was part of an advanced booking process you could do.
Yeah, FastPass Plus. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so FastPass Plus, those years come out. And look at this. 36 minutes, 38 minutes, 39 minutes, the wait times, okay? 2017, 2018, 2019. Now, presumably, we didn't see a giant jump in attendance like this. That's not what happened from 2016 to 2017. This is a change in the way that they handled the lines. But you can see that the wait times skyrocketed. And then the pandemic happened. And you can see that under the same system that they had before, wait times plummeted. Under the same system. And then what did they do, ladies and gentlemen? What did they do? Disney brought in lightning lanes. And they made you pay for this service. You had to pay now, right? And so the line times skyrocketed. 41 minutes on average because they had lightning lanes and people were paying for lightning lanes now. And it slowed down the lines like crazy. And yet, even with a system that slows the lines like crazy and gave them wait times like they had never had before, look at this. We have been dropping and dropping and dropping from 2022 until 2026, and now 2026 is on track to be the least crowded, least wait time associated year for Disney. And we're getting down to when FastPass was free, when there was a system in place to make you not have to wait in lines. Now they charge for it, and somehow we are drifting down. Now, how do we know this? Because we are currently looking at only January through July to factor this in. The least crowded months of the year are on the way. August, September, most of October, and no, Mickey's Not So Scary doesn't get counted in this. We are headed towards the least crowded months of the year, and those have not been factored in. So we believe now, ladies and gentlemen, that when all is said and done, 2026 is in fact going to be the least crowded and the lowest wait times of any year on this chart. Now, the wait times might not get as low as when Fast Passes were free, but it's trending down that way. Culture, I'll go to you first on this one. Ron will be hopping back in just a second. But Culture, this is not going Disney's way. We can actually show this in higher fidelity if we want to. We can show that this trend line is dropping overall. And July right now, July 2026, is as low as an August or September is. Right? These are typically the lowest months. July is dropping down there. We don't know where August and September are going to be, but probably lower. The trend will continue. And this is not looking like it's in Disney's favor. This, whatever's going on, Culture, is driving crowds away.
Well, from a perk to a premium would be what I would suggest calling this, because it used to be a perk to get free Legacy Fast Pass, and you didn't need to be a rocket scientist, and it controlled the wait times really well. It also spread them out throughout the day. You didn't have to do this three months in advance or even 9 months in advance. You just kind of took advantage of the opportunity at, let's say, rope drop, and you also thinned out the crowds. The people could go and do a bunch of attractions if they were rope droppers at the beginning of the day. They could have all these early fast passes. They could take advantage of that, and then they would be on their way to either the next theme park, to dinner, to whatever else that they had going on throughout the day. This is completely different. It also is showing us something that I think should terrify Disney. People are not considering Lightning Lane a premium. They're
all right. Well, walk us through that. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Culture?
Because if the wait times are starting to fall, people aren't utilizing these access passes. Either that or attendance has fallen so dramatically that somebody's doing a cover up. Those are your only two options. Is if you're going to see these wait times and these other things start to disappear, is everybody on Lightning Lane, or if so, that indicates low attendance, or are there fewer people there and people still buying Lightning Lane? And again, no matter what, each direction you look, attendance would be down, right? Or is my math poor? I don't think.
No, I think you're right. Listen, there's another side of this though, Culture.
Yeah.
And I want to go to Erica to ask about this. We've had people suggest that what is going on here is that maybe the wait times are dropping because since Disney is forcing people to pay to skip the line with with Lightning Lane, Erica, that maybe people are, because they say, well, it looks crowded to me and the parking lot looks crowded. Erica, maybe people are going to watch shows instead because they haven't monetized that fully yet. So maybe people are going to watch like the Nemo Broadway show, or they're going to watch The Lion King, or they're watching the outdoor Beauty and the Beast thing at Hollywood Studios, or Ariel. Like maybe this is driving people to go watch, the shows and not ride rides.
That's an interesting idea. My train of thought is, honestly, to Culture's point, I've been observing that for a while, where the lightning lane is just not worth it when the attendance is already low. Just go to the standby line. And I had another point and I lost it. Completely slipped my mind.
All good, Erica. It'll come back to your mind, and when it does, we'll grab what you have to say on that. But let me show you another graph here if I can. Folks, take a look at this. This is also out of Thrill Data, and it's showing the weekly average wait time. And part of the reason I like this chart is because you can see that just prior to the pandemic, you can actually go and you can see that at peak times of the year, where was Disney at? Well, peak times of the year, Disney was at something like a 55-minute wait time, 46-minute wait time. I mean, there are some huge ones. On New Year's Eve, the average wait time was 1 hour for a ride. Okay? The pandemic happens, and you can see that Disney, once they rolled out Lightning Lane, it crept up. But my, oh my, the places that we are hitting now were never seen before the pandemic. I mean, the last week of July that we've seen so far, the average wait time was 27 minutes. And yet Disney is charging money. They've created a system where they need long lines. And that makes me inclined to say they're having attendance problems. Ron, you're just rejoining. What do you think about, Ron, you go to the parks more often than anybody. What do you think about crowd levels? What are you seeing this July as we watch and see these charts that indicate attendance is dropping year after year?
The summer numbers for the last several seasons, nobody's going in during the summer. That's basically what's happening. I don't know if families aren't taking summer vacations. I don't know what the deal is, but when I go to the parks in the summertime, they are, ghost towns, comparatively speaking to what they've been in the past. When we say that, of course, it's a little bit hyperbolic, but it's for Disney. Disney crowds used to be crowded all the time, and summer, it's just down now. It's not the same as it was. And look, I got to say that with a caveat that Universal and SeaWorld numbers are not down like Disney numbers are down, at least not during the summertime. There are some other seasons that, like, they brought more cheerleaders and more dance competitions in during a lot more of the year than they used to be. So you see kind of numbers up in the winter and the spring now when all the dancers are there, the cheer competitions, the bands that they bring in. A lot more groups are coming during those times and fill those gaps. But during this, don't they even have an incentive right now where it's like for Florida locals, it's $60 a day or something?
Ron, we're still in the thing that we talked about earlier, where if you buy the 4-day pass, it's still available, the 4-day pass with the water park, you're getting 8 days of Disney for like $60 a day. I mean, they're doing anything they can.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not even just local. I forgot. It's actually a national deal.
And the way that they're hiding these attendance issues, I think, is they are running these extra magic events, right? These VIP events like Mickey's Not So Scary and Mickey's Christmas, and they're running additional days. And basically, those are additional days for Disney because you're paying a ticket just like you would to stay a day. And so they're getting 2 ticketed things, right? The normal ticket for the day and then the special ticket in the evening, and they're hiding their attendance problems that way, which, they sell those things out. So that's good. That's a good part of their business. Lauren, you've been to Epic Universe. You've spent a lot of time there. Lauren, your thoughts on how much that might be hurting Disney. Do you think that Epic is pulling away folks from the House of Mouse?
Yes, and I think it's going to continue to do more as they continue to invest in the parks. They've got their new nighttime show that I think is going to be bigger, and I think if they extend their hours, as you have been urging them to do, that will continue to do so. Disney has also been very slow to maintain and expand their parks. I think they have a number of binds there, some of that probably relating to the fact that the Reedy Creek Improvement District no longer exists, and now they have SIFTOD to deal with and normal construction approvals that they didn't previously have to contend with. All of that makes things much more expensive. So I think Disney has got a lot of binds to deal with. So right now the momentum is with Epic. I'm hoping that they continue to innovate and invest in the parks because that's only going to be to their benefit.
Culture was trying to get in. He was so close, but the interstitial caught him. Culture, what you were trying to say?
I was going to introduce the idea that right now there are a lot of rooms that are down, that are not occupiable. They're not even included in an occupancy list. On top of the fact that they've had considerable vacancy numbers, and they're down from 92% occupancy down to 89%. Occupancy in recent quarters. And again, it's because of extended renovation periods for a lot of these resorts, including Animal Kingdom Lodge. That doesn't even factor into the attendance. It's not, look, the 10Q last quarter, which was reported by that Park Place, was down 1%, right, in theme park attendance. It's up 2% at Disneyland. It's down 1% at Disney World. But it's something different than that. It's the feeling of the occupancy of the parks that is dramatically different. And that comes down to ride times. Because if your rides are not really well occupied, and if you don't have a lot of foot traffic in the park, people are either waiting in the lines, or they're just not there. They're just not in the theme park itself. Is it possible that people are using Disney kind of as a partial day treatment and now using it, maybe as a partial day experience and not utilizing it all day long? Is that, something that's happening in the summer? Are we seeing a reflection of people's lack of, or a result of their frustration in the cost to just spend the day at Disney as far as food and everything else goes? Because think about the fact that, most people left with merchandise every time. And they also left, eating in the theme park all day. The pull now is across so many different items in the theme parks and then outside the theme parks as far as their restaurants and their shopping districts and stuff, that maybe they're cannibalizing their own business.
It could be. It could be, absolutely. I don't know, Ron, Erica, what do you all think about that?
So my thoughts earlier, it came back to me, dependent on the attraction and time of day depends on the wait time for that attraction. And I've noticed in some of the Disney groups on Facebook, people will make statements like, well, I don't know what people are talking about. They're so negative and against Disney. But it's full. Look at this line. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but you're on a popular attraction like Guardians, yeah, the line is going to be longer there than, let's say, maybe Ratatouille or Frozen. So that was one small little point.
Here's the thought on that, Erica, real quick. How long would the line be for Cosmic Rewind if it didn't have that premium, which we didn't even talk about the last segment, the premium fast pass system where people are, ordering this days ahead? I tend to think that like Tron and Cosmic Rewind and even Flight of Passage, I think those wait times might be half if they were just normal queues that,
artificial scarcity is what
artificial scarcity.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I'm looking at you strangely right now, Pro, because Tron is not a premium attraction. It's 1 minute of like, oh, that was interesting.
Sorry, I want to be on your level.
That was interesting. I wanted to make a point, kind of bring
Hey.
something to light.
Hey,
Ron
Culture,
brought
hang
up-
on, Erica, hang on. Culture,
Mhm.
shake my hand, be my friend. Come on. Oh no, my elbow. That's weird. Get off me, man. Too close.
It's. I went in for a bro hug, and
You did. You did. I'll give you. And listen, I'm blocked by the mic, but I would give you here. There you go. There you go. Little tickle. There you go. All right, Erica. I'm so sorry that our silliness got in your way. Go ahead with your next point.
No, Ron had brought up, and it's been brought up a few times here and there over the last year, and that families going over the summer, what's changing. I've noticed a pattern since the pandemic, since families started to get clued in on what kids were actually learning or not learning in school. And I noticed it really hit the vacation too. I'm noticing parents are more willing to fight with their teachers and school systems and school administrations to do vacations during
Sure.
the school year. Their parents are willing to take up that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what I think happened. I mean, and this is me. You
And
tell me
then
what you think about it,
homeschooling went
Erica.
on the rise too. I noticed.
Erica, what I think happened is Disney bulldozed a bunch of the buildings that had air conditioning, and now it's hard to go in the summer. You know, when if you think about Epcot bulldozed, massive amounts of property, or made those very easily accessible areas now off limits. You can think about like that they didn't bulldoze Wonders of Life, but it's not there. Like you can't access it. And so when you have these kinds of things, that's less places for people to escape, one, from the heat, but also from the daily summer thunderstorms. And people may not even understand it, right? They may not even think about that and go, oh, 20 years ago, I was able to get away from this kind of stuff, and we had a lovely time. And they don't think about that necessarily. They just know, man, it was hot. Man, we got soaked in that thunderstorm and it was hot, And I think Disney planned much better in the past, and they've destroyed a lot of the opportunities. I think that's why it's made summer unbearable, really unbearable. I think July and August are unbearable.
Yeah, it's multifaceted, from the cost to what you just mentioned, and then parents just willing to fight school systems and administrators. No, we're taking our family during this time of the year, and you can just get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was,
And there's more homeschooling. I mean, the homeschooling shot through the roof. And the pandemic
That's a good
proved
point.
that we could stay at home and educate our children, which means that gives a lot more families more flexibility to go when they want. And again, like you said, it is not as comfortable at Disney as it used to be in the past. I think of Journey of Water at Epcot, and I'm like, you just put a water-based attraction that you got to go in the summer, and it doesn't cool you down. It actually heats you up because of all the water in there when you're walking through. The humidity heats up the temperature 10 degrees.
Yeah.
It's so odd to me that they created a splash pad where they did, whereas if you just go to the Imagination Pavilion, they literally have a water feature there that is far more entertaining, and you didn't have to queue up for it. You just kind of walk through the jumping fountains. It's weird.
When you think about all the places that they've destroyed and the loss of air conditioning, and then you think too about the prices, and I'll tell you another thing that happens as well. So the Disney World attendance is down, we think, in summer, as we're all talking about, and we're observing this, we're looking at the data on this. But okay, so what would that have meant 20 years ago? What would have meant that you would have parked really close to the theme park because, well, there's nobody here. And you'd have parked really close to the theme park and you could just walk in and, okay, that would have been all right? And instead, well, now we got premium parking. So now because there's premium parking, you can't be allowed to park up in the front unless you're willing to pay, $50 or whatever, $60. I don't remember what it is. So if you pay the $20, well, now you got to park in the back of the parking lot. Now it's 120 degrees heat index, and there's no umbrellas, there's no nothing, there's no sunshades to block you. Remember, Epcot was actually designed with giant sunshades blockers when you went in. There's none of that anymore. So you stand out there at 120 degrees heat index. They got one tram running. If it breaks down, it's going to be 30 minutes before they find another one. And it's like, what is going on here? Like you are monetizing me not having a heat stroke, right? And you wonder where the people went. It's a joke. So they can fix this. I'll give you one example, okay? Disney World right now, I've advocated for this at Animal Kingdom. They've got a huge area on the west side of Animal Kingdom that they could link to from Discovery Island in between Africa and Pandora. Disney could build a giant pavilion like they have at Epcot. They could theme it, and it could be Antarctica. And they could have penguins there, and they could ride there. But bottom line is, they could have an air-conditioned, cool spot so that in the middle of the day, folks can go over there, charge their phones, get inside 70 degrees, and get some relief. And what would that do for guest satisfaction? Because we just covered recently that Disney, is happy that they've increased guest satisfaction at the hotels, but not the parks, seemingly. I'll guarantee you one way that you can make people happy is have a place at Animal Kingdom. And that's just one idea. It's super simple. It's like, give people a place to get out of the sun, and I bet the summer attendance goes up. Well, but they don't want to do it.
I think transportation is at the heart of it, though, Pro. I think that the lack of transportation between, let's say, the Ticket Transportation Center and directly to the Studios Park is a problem. And I think it's the same for Animal Kingdom. I think they really should have focused, instead of the gondola bologna sausage that they built, they should have done a people mover style thing that could have linked all 4 parks together for cheaper than a monorail. And then not only that, you double the ability to gather sun because you put solar on top of it, as far as the roofing goes.
Exactly. Why are we chopping down the trees at Disney World instead of putting up solar panels above the parking lot? Block the sun from the trees, get people shade, and generate electricity.
Yeah, and you don't create a heat island. You reflect all that heat. Not to mention the fact that you also would be able to expand the amount of foot traffic space if you did something like that, and would also make Run Disney not be such a pain in the tail because they could run alongside the People Mover as part of their jogging track.
Great points, all. Great points, all. You know what? I think this was its own segment at this point. I mean, we were going to Super Chats. We'll hit it again. All right, let's go to our superstars out there, and they are indeed the stars of the show. Frederick Wilton's bro. Oh no, for 2. Hello, good people. Hope you had fun. We did indeed have fun, and folks, we want to thank everybody for making it that way. And thank you, if this is who it might be. Thank you, folks. We've got a reel-to-reel that will be appearing in the studio tonight for the Pro Show for the first time. How cool is that? Freedom Seeker for 5. Fast Pass at Disney's California Adventure. Who in the group can run the fastest to Radiator Springs, racers at Rope Drop? Give them your tickets and get all of our Fast Passes. Oh, boy. Did you see the images of the people sprinting at Disney Springs because there was the some pin that came out and they won't open the parking garages now until a certain time? So.
Oh, that was the Lorcana cards.
Yeah, Lorcana. Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah, I saw that.
People were parking in the hotels around Disney Springs and then making a mad dash. It looked like wild people. We'll have to cover that. We got to cover that.
Like wild boar.
Yeah, it was like a wildebeest stampede. Folks, if you were one of those wildebeest, we're not trying to say anything about your body shape, okay? I'm just telling you. It was impressive. Woofle the Crime Dog McGruffle for $10 magnificent dollars. Thank you, Woofle, keeping the hamsters on the wheels. I convened a grand symposium of my mind, where prefrontal executives and amygdala dramaturges. Wait a minute. I have encountered a word I don't know. What have you done to me here, Woofle? Culture? Dramaturges? How do I say this, Culture?
I think you were correct. Dramaturges.
All right, let me pretend like I knew this word when we began. I convened a grand symposium of my mind where prefrontal executives and amygdala dramaturges waged protracted dialectical warfare. I get all those words. To conclude, the Doomsday trailer is in fact one of the trailers ever. It is. It truly is a trailer. I'm going to say, not a great time to bring out the trailer. Are they trying to piggyback it off of Odyssey? Do they think it's like a big hit? So now, hey, remember us, we're Avengers. I don't know. Not going to work out for them. Bonnie Gamester out there for $4.99. Need to know proportion of new/returning customers. It would tell us a lot about experience satisfaction. New customers don't know what it was before. My belief is, now this is just based on anecdotal, but we spend a lot of time thinking about this sort of thing. I think there are a lot of very, very wealthy New Englanders and international guests who are coming to Disney World. They don't come to Disney World often, and then I think they pad all the rest of it out with locals. I think that's what's happening. And the international and the New Englanders are spending insane money, and the locals are spending almost no money, but it makes it look full. It is full. But that's what I think is happening. All right, Ron, are you good to stay on board for another segment?
I will do my best, but I got to say something. I think fewer locals are going to Disney than ever before. The locals, more than any time I've ever seen, are turning more against Disney, really going to SeaWorld. Like, we actually tried to go to, I want to say it was Aquatica not long ago. By 11 a.m., Aquatica had reached its max, and we couldn't even go. And it was on a day that there was plenty of availability at Disney. And the Universal parks are filling up. Epic is filling up. Epic, it's hard to get a ticket to Epic on certain days. So I would say that they might be trying to fill it up with locals, but I don't know that they're necessarily succeeding at that either.
Let me ask you about that, Ron. On the local side, is it damaging to them what they're doing, removing resort hopping? Do you think that is making the locals angry and they don't want to go now?
I think that's one of many factors.
Is it one of the biggest factors?
It's probably one of the larger factors. It's and there's so much. Disney did something that I think was fascinating because I think they created more talk about it. I don't know if that's what they wanted, because I feel like the reason they did it is simply to prevent people from. Look, they have these incredibly low price tickets now, which means that you can get those tickets with that discount. And people that have that mindset to get a discount are going to want to park for free. So they were trying to figure out, okay, if they're going to get the discount, how do we make sure we force them to pay for parking? Well, we cut off the Disney Springs stuff. There are still workarounds if you want to figure that out. But regardless, I just think that it's when they throw the bone to people who have lower budgets, but then they tick them off because you can't park for free. It's upsetting everybody. And look, the wealthy guests aren't going to last forever. They're going to figure out, hey, there's better destinations.
10-4. All right, folks, we've got 6 out of 20 on the Super Chat goal. And I tell you what we're going to do, because I want to hear from Culture Casino and Ron Bradley and Lauren too. I want to hear, and Erica, you weren't there, so I'd want to hear from you. We put you at the top of the list, but I want to hear about Southeast Game Exchange. So I'm going to lower it down now, folks, so that we hit this goal. If we get 4 more, we hit 10 out of 20, and these guys are going to tell the story about Southeast Game Exchange. Lauren, yes.
I'm afraid I have to drop because something has come up that I need to deal with.
Lauren, is everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine. This is a request that you had for a high priority item.
All right, I'm just saying, like, if you take off running with your, doing the waggly Kermit arms, screaming out of the room, I'm going to wonder what's happening. No, Lord, no! He lost him. Oh, no, Lord. Why did he have to have the waggly arms? All right, well, anyway. Culture Casino, and Ron will then fill us in on what happened at Southeast Game Exchange. It was a good time. All right, folks, we'll hit it now. It's time to win it with 2 more stories. We'll do them back to back, come back and see if we hit that goal. If we hit the goal, we'll talk about Southeast Game Exchange. Folks, let's get ready. Is Disney now unaffordable for the middle normal class?
It's showtime! Straight from the heart of the park.
Prices for Disney parks are skyrocketing, and most folks are not noticing them until they get hit in the wallet. They go to the parks, they come back, and they say, oh, doggone it, my money is gone. I've been separated from my George Washingtons. Oh, wait, no, that's Ben. Vivian Chow writing this out of KTLA. Let's see, that's Los Angeles. Disneyland raises prices on hundreds of food and beverage items. Yet again, and take a look at this, because you might say, well, just don't buy the food. It's okay, Pro, you just don't have to buy the food. Look at the percentage. Up to 23% increase. You want a waffle? You're going to pay for that waffle. It says the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim has raised prices on hundreds of food items across both parks, affecting many of the most popular food, snacks, and drinks. Per item increases ranged anywhere between 1.5 and 23%. The summer increase impacted more than 800 items across 178 dining locations, Price hikes of the most popular items include a 50-cent increase on churros, popcorn, and caramel popcorn, and a 70-cent increase on vanilla soft serve. Pizza slices and a 3-pack of beignets both rose by $1. You can see here how it went. Popcorn from $6.50 to $7. Dole Whip from $7.29 to $7.49. Pizza slices went from $8.99 to $9.99. And if you want a coffee, a tea, or a hot chocolate, you're going to be paying more than $5 for such a thing. Soft drinks are the same thing. They, too, now are $5.50 for a single bottle of your favorite Coca-Cola. All right, so that's up, and you might say, well, that's not enough for an entire story, right? Well, it's all over the world. Japan Today is reporting on this. Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea are also raising ticket prices, and they're ending free Fast Pass. They were the holdouts. They kept free Fast Pass around. Disney has been very unhappy about that, wanting the Oriental Land Company that runs these parks to get on board and switch on over to paid Lightning Lane. So goodbye, Fast Pass. Casey Basile has this out of Sora News 24. It says, the announcement this week from Tokyo Disney Resort operator Oriental Land didn't fall into any of those fun categories. It says the highest prices to get for a standard adult admission is 10,900 yen. We'll get somebody on a conversion there, but it's going to go up significantly. And goodbye, free Fast Pass. Last theme parks from Disney that do that. Now, I want to go, because prices continue to go up, I'm going to do something different today. This is very unusual that we go to forums, but I'm going to go to forums out of the Disboards. Here we go, folks, over the Disboards. They're the civilized place, maybe. But I want to show you how people were reacting to the rising prices last year, and they continue to go up. I don't know. Culture, do you remember, how much is it? Maybe Ron knows. How much is it to park these days? Like at the Magic Kingdom? $35 just to park, right? So yeah. 4 days of parking at the Disney parks, you're going to pay as much as you do for a single day ticket admission, just to park.
Unless you're on property at one of their resorts.
Right. And don't you dare try to do this thing at Disney Springs. Okay, so everywhere the prices are going up. But this is what they were saying on the Disboards. Pink Partridge in a Pear Tree said, at what point will you stop going to the parks? My children are grown, so it's just the two of us we have to pay for now. It's still doable, but I don't think I could afford to go if we had to pay for an entire family. This is October 8th, 2025. Wow. And these are the biggest Disney fans you can find, okay? Disboards. These people are Disney fanatics. Willow UF Good says, we own DVCs, so we won't stop until the contracts are sold or they expire, but we are doing more resort days instead of 8 days or more in the parks. By the way, Disney just got rid of the resort days because unless you're staying at the resort, you can't go there anymore. So too many walls, too few attractions. You get the idea. Going down. Again, these are the biggest Disney fans out there. Nyan says, I have been priced out for a while. I went to Epcot on Mother's Day because my friends were in town. I wanted to spend the day with them. After paying for parking, my ticket, food, and drinks, I spent close to $400. For one person, that's quite a hunk of change. And while I can't afford it, to me, it wasn't worth it. I won't be going back. Good Lord. You've got Tony67 says, long past my breaking point. I stopped going many years ago. Biggest Disney fans out there on these boards. I used to go 2 to 3 times a year with an annual pass or a 10-day non-expiring ticket. They got rid of all that. Disney has been on a downward trajectory for me since 2005. Kenny Wood says that point came a long time ago. I mean, I can keep going. You've got 19 Disney says, yep, for us too, it's already past the point, and the price continues to go up. So panelists talk about it. I want to go to Erica first. Erica, these prices are crazy. They're insane, and people are apparently like, we've reached the point where the middle class can't afford it. Disney's having to do these drastic cuts, but at the same time, they're offering, like a 50% off 4-day, 4 water park option. They've been doing that all summer. At the same time, Erica, they're raising the prices on parking, on food, and all this stuff that's kind of like this hidden thing so that they hit you in the wallet, but you don't know it until you leave and you look at your bank account and say, whoa.
Yeah, this has been a pattern with them. They'll drop the prices somewhere like tickets or hotels, but then they raise the prices on food and beverage. And we've already known that a lot of the meat and potatoes of their money that they want to make, and they do make, is food and beverage and merch in the parks. They really want you spending more on food, beverage, and merch. And it's disgusting, as MJ would say. I've gotten to a point with us, because we're no longer Florida residents, and as outsiders looking in now, Disney is not much of an option for our family. And I scoured DisneyStore.com. We actually have a Disney store here across town. I go on eBay to even look at some of the unique merch you can't find on Disney Store. And a lot of the merch is it's clutter. It's not, and I'm not paying those prices for clutter for stuff that's just going to sit around my house and collect dust I'm not going to use. I don't know. I'm just thinking practically as, as a mom. Well, not, my kids are older, but just as a mom, as a consumer, as a vacationer.
I'm going to interject a question because you are a mom, which means eventually you're going to be grandma. I know that's hard to imagine, but that's going to happen.
Whoa.
I
technically have 3 grandkids.
She's already graduated to the level of grandma.
I didn't know she looks like she's 12 years old. So anyway,
she doesn't look 12. She looks like she's 19. Culture, come on,
right,
get on the bandwagon of good descriptions here.
Okay, not to be overly flattering, but you're very young. So you already have 3 grandchildren. So how likely? And this is Disney's biggest problem. Generationally, how likely are you going to pass on your tradition of going to Disney parks and enjoying Disney if they're not delivering to your family any longer?
Last I had spoken to the eldest, I was told that the grandkids were fatigued over the Disney stuff and they were leaning more towards the IPs that they had at Universal. And they had actually switched their annual passes from Disney to Universal. On that note, I have a sister who lives in the Orlando area, and her kids lean towards more the IPs that Universal has, and they have switched their annual passes as well. And mind you, these are all family that live in Central Florida. They're technically locals. And for me as a grandparent, I mean, you just kind of follow what your adult kid is telling you, and you follow their lead as a parent. Okay, this is what my grandkids are gravitating to. Naturally, as a grandparent, that's what you're going to follow. Because if you're going to gift something to your grandkids, you want to gift them something they're going to appreciate and like and use and play with, instead of it just being tossed to the side like they don't care.
Well, let me give you all something that I find incredible, and let's see if this springboards some more of the great conversation we're having. So we talked about these food price increases at Disneyland, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things we talked about was the price of a bottle of soda, plastic bottle of soda, right? Let me just tell you what Disney's making off you. Okay. Now you all know Disney has a deal with Coca-Cola, right? They're partners. Okay, so. And it works out well for both of them, I would say, because the manufacturing cost of a bottle of Coca-Cola, I've looked this up, the actual cost that the company, Coca-Cola, that they invest in getting the bottle of plastic, putting the soda in it, putting the cap on it, and getting it out there is 15 cents per bottle. Disney is charging $5.59 at Disneyland for said 15-cent bottle of Coca-Cola, which is a 37 times return on investment. And as we've said with Disney World, how do they manage to get you to pay 37 times the cost of the bottle? Because it's at Disney World, which we're looking at right now, it's 120 degrees heat index. They won't pay for air conditioning hardly anymore. They've taken away a lot of the interior buildings. So they know. They may offer the ticket at 50% off, but you're going to pay 37 times more than the value of that bottle of soda because it's freaking hot and you don't want a sunstroke out there on the concrete. That's what's happening here.
I've underestimated this family because I'm not doing that. I will bring a stroller and bring my own stuff before I will pay almost $6 for a 20 ounce of Coke. That is
right.
But not even anecdotally, Disney increases its food and beverage prices between 5 and 8% annually. That's a minimum. Over the last decade, when you think about the staples that everybody got at Disney, like the Mickey ice cream, bars or whatever, the chocolate covered Mickey heads, whatever, those have gone up from 58 to 63% over the last decade. Dole Whips are the same thing. I mean, the stuff that we used to take for granted as the, the typical theme park treat, you're outpacing inflation, which was only 32% over the course of the last decade, largely driven by 4 years up to recent years. But it's kind of distasteful to think that they're always about increasing margins, and they're looking for 8 to 14% on just festival foods alone, which are high margin anyway. So I'm thinking that this is Disney's pattern of extracting more dollars and grabbing you by your ankles and shaking you for your pocket change. I think that's where we are. And I think everybody's realizing it now.
Everybody is really realizing it, but I remember being in the park just the other day, and I was thinking to myself, okay, so I was looking, a churro was $9. A churro. A turkey leg is now, I think, $16 or $17. Turkey legs were $8 and $9 just a few years ago. The kids meals that used to be $4.99 or $5.99, they're now $10 and $11 for the kids meals. And the quick serve, it's just crazy. It's food across the board, merchandise across the board. I still don't know how you sell so many $100 tiny backpacks, but they do.
Well, I'll tell you this, Ron. So on the most recent trip to Magic Kingdom, I wanted to have some decent food. Magic Kingdom right now, because Columbia Harbor House has dropped so badly in quality, is a hard place to find good food. But Skipper's Canteen is one of those places you can find decent food. So 2 adults and a child at the Jungle Cruise Skipper Canteen in Adventureland, I would say is not the highest priced meal you can get, but it's not the lowest either. But 2 adults and a child, which would be 2 adult meals, a kid's meal, an appetizer, and I think one of us had a soda, or a tea or something like that, was over $120.
Yeah,
that is wild. That is wild because we're not talking about a 5-star Michelin. We're talking about pasta and whatever, and what's good, like even if it's a decent restaurant, a kid is eating chicken nuggets. Over $120. This is what we're talking about. Ron, let me ask you this. Weigh in, please, on also the alcohol and the rise in the price of alcohol and how Disney's been leaning on that. And are the parks now unaffordable for the middle class?
Look, they're affordable for the middle class. They want to save up 5-10 years. But while you're saving up for 5 or 10 years to go on the maybe one Disney vacation you might take to go, guess what? The prices are raising faster than you're saving. So it is very difficult, and it is very clear. And I think Disney's even stated it, that their new strategy is to cater to higher income levels. I don't remember how they stated it, but I remember Iger saying something very specific about it, that was actually part of their strategy, is to cater to higher income level guests, not even families, but guests, because they want more Disney adults, dinks and singles, who come without their kids.
Okay,
Culture, Erica, final thoughts on it.
The singles are okay. I'm sorry. I've been watching a whole stream of not really TikToks, but I found a YouTuber that really dives deep into Disney adults going into debt over vacations, and I don't know, it's the whole thing.
50%, Erica, is the stat. 50% of people, flat out just people that go to Disney World, are doing so on debt. They're taking out a loan. They're doing whatever. 50%. Yeah.
It's no mystery here in the United States. We are a country of just, we borrow our way through life until we die. That's been a thing, and it's just increasingly getting worse. And we have turned into an entitled, I don't want to say country, but there is a generation out there, younger Gen X, millennial, and now Gen Z. They're willing to, it's the YOLO, you only live once attitude, and FOMO on top of that. And Disney markets, and they use all this psychology on people like that. Like, I've just got
the magic. Right, it's the magic. I've got to spend money to do the magic.
this instant gratification culture, and Disney has been honestly, in a sense, successfully at getting in on that and bringing in all these Disney adults. But if you notice, and I've noticed this too, in a lot of these TikTok videos, increasingly we're seeing less families in the video footage, and we're
That's
seeing
right.
more young adults and even adults my age that they don't have kids or they're not married, and that's an interesting thing. And I know it's kind of been lightly mentioned that Disney is catering to them, hence why they're building all these bars. But now stats are coming out that Gen Z, they're not drinking.
Right. Yeah, that is.
So I'm like, I don't know why you're building all this alcohol related stuff when
Well-
your younger generations are actually turning away from it because they've seen the effects of it from the older generations, their parents, their older siblings, maybe even grandparents, and we're turning into, people want more of a healthy culture, and they're turning away from that kind of consumerism. It's a trade-off,
Culture if they get rid of the bars because young people won't drink, Disney will start putting in tattoo parlors if they have to.
They're going to have to, and that's the problem. They look at this. This ultimately, I think, is how we ended up with all these bars like Beacon Barrel and stuff like that. It's not because of my generation. It's because
no, you want to be absolved of this. I say that.
No,
not my generation.
No, I'm going to say that Disney has fallen victim to the idea that the people they need to market to are their free advertisers, the influencers that have been that always go and show up at these events when they open something new, and they go wildly gaga about it because they're peddling this Disney to an audience that largely may not necessarily participate in any of these things, but are going to want to do the new cool thing, and they want to know what the new cool thing is. So when you talk about TikTok, as Erica did a moment ago, it's led Disney to make some very detrimental decisions and to buy into an idea that, even when it comes down to political stuff, that this woke garbage is popular, or this, anti-family, position is stronger than where we're headed, or, tastes are changing, which honestly, they don't have any proof of. In fact, they have proof of the opposite, that people are looking to spend more time with family, that people are rejecting screens. I mean, do you know how much I don't want to use this anymore? It's like, I don't want to use that in a theme park unless I'm going to take a picture of nieces and nephews and my folks and whoever else I happen to be with. It's the same reason I used the phone when I was at the recent event that we're going to talk about during our bonus segment. I don't think that Disney really is paying attention to where culture is going, and it's direct opposite of where they were driving culture for the last 10 years. And again, Disney has largely been helping drive this minimalist, I should say, this very small movement of loud voices that they think they're a big part of in destroying our culture in the United States. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, culture. We'll pay attention to it, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, I would say Disney is now, unfortunately, unaffordable for the middle class.
I just can't wait for 3 days of you and me.
It's a big story, and it's happening right now, ladies and gentlemen. The vote is coming out for this year's greatest theme park. We've been seeing in North America a theme park that might be surprising win over and over again. It's Dollywood defeating Disney. But what's happening now? Well, Mental Floss is covering this by Jenny Cohen. Says America's best theme parks to visit ranked. Which ones are on your bucket list? It says one of the best things to do when the weather gets warm is head to an amusement park where you can find all kinds of fun in one place. Amusement parks bring together some of the best things to do outdoors, from roller coasters to games, or you could head to a water park filled with water slides. And of course, every good amusement park has tasty treats from corn dogs to cotton candy and more. Thank you for that paragraph explaining what an amusement park is. But if you don't want to go to just any old amusement park, there are some good options in the United States that consistently top TripAdvisor's list of the country's best amusement parks. Have you been to one of these parks? And so it's telling us, by the way, TripAdvisor is the company that pulls all of the guest feedback together and says, these are the top ranked theme parks. This year, according to Mental Floss, number 1 is Magic Kingdom, And number 2 is Dollywood. Now, Dollywood has been consistently beating Disney year after year after year. I also want to point out that I think this year is not including Epic Universe quite yet because it's not on the list. Number 3 is Nobles. Number 4 is Universal Islands of Adventure. Number 5 is Legoland. Number 6 is Silver Dollar City. And number 7 is Cedar Point. I think that if Epic Universe is being given the opportunity the full year for votes, which I don't think it was quite yet, I think Epic Universe definitely is going to appear somewhere on here. Now, it goes on to list out what, why Magic Kingdom is here. And then it goes on to talk about Dollywood. But I find this interesting because these two parks continue now to go head to head. And I'll tell you the other shocking thing. I struggle, guys, to believe that Magic Kingdom is beating Disneyland. There was a time when I thought those parks might, be about the same, but Disneyland today, I think, beats Magic Kingdom theme park. Culture, go ahead. You wanted this one, right?
I do. And look, I'm going to tell you that every day of the week and twice on Sunday, Disneyland will always beat Magic Kingdom.
Which is a shame.
There's more to offer there. Just in Disneyland alone, there are over 60 attractions just in that park. You can't find 60 attractions across all 4 parks, major theme parks at Disney World. So we'll just leave it right there. We're not even counting across, the plaza at Disney's California Adventure. So if like I said, there's that front and center. But at the same time, I'm going to point out that Dollywood competes attraction level wise and quality and immersiveness with every other theme park in the country, especially the Disney theme parks, because you walk in there and you enter a whole new world. The Dolly's world. You enter a period of time in Pigeon Forge that has long since passed us by. And, you have a legitimate steam train that's still running around inside that park that you can enjoy. It's a lot of fun. And again, the music, they still have streetmacere. There's still musicians performing off as you walk down the sidewalks and everything else there. This is the true distraction of a theme park. It's the food, it's the shows, it's the vibrant entertainment, it's the attractions, and it's the people. And there is a different. This is going to sound so elitist. There is a different class of people that goes to Dollywood that isn't going to Magic Kingdom, that isn't, going to.
Let me toss this your way, Culture, because I was reading through the article. I'd rather put up images of Dollywood and Disney as opposed to the article. And we've got one here from Christmas of Dollywood. But Culture, it's really close. I just looked at TripAdvisor on their awards that were just released. TripAdvisor is giving, according to everybody, it's like 60,000 votes that they've compiled for these parks, each one. And Culture, what I'm seeing is that Disney World's Magic Kingdom has a 4.4. Dollywood came in at a 4.3 average rating out of 5 from these guys. So this is really, really close.
But they have more attractions. They have at least one attraction opening up like this year, like in the next
few weeks. in a month. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got more on the way. I mean, we were witness to this not that long ago. This is another great thing about being part of a theme park channel. You go to theme parks and you get to compare them directly to each other. And I will tell you that for me, there's no comparison right now. The value that you get for your attendance, let's say it's $100 anytime price to go to this park. You get every bit of that $100 of value to go there for a day. You also get a reasonably priced food experience that cannot be matched by anything inside the Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom theme park, or maybe even Disneyland's theme parks, outside of going to a specialty, private restaurant like the 33 Club 33.
Club 33. By the way, what we're watching on the screen right now is part of Dolly's, because it's like Disney World. She has multiple parks and hotels and things to do. And so this is Dolly Stampede, which is in the same city as Dollywood, and you get deals for going to both of them anyway. So we're showing horses in a show, and you have dinner around it and all that.
Think about Splash Country. I mean, the tickets, when you buy tickets, that include Splash Country, I mean, that's reasonable. And they're all season pass. And they don't sell an annual pass, they sell season passes. But their season pass is $170 pro. So if you're going there with a family, you buy the season pass.
Right.
Because you're going to get more value if you're going to be there for a week. You beat Disney back with a stick. It's just insane.
Ron, you'll be happy to know that Silver Dollar City made the top 10 this time. I don't think I've seen it in the top 10. I could be wrong. But that's a big, I mean, we're seeing a lot of theme parks making big gains against Disney these days.
Yeah, I still, with the condition that Magic Kingdom is in right now, I cannot fathom why it's that high on the list. It should not be. It honestly, the Magic Kingdom it's very close to my least favorite theme park at Walt Disney World, neck and neck with Hollywood Studios. Those two parks, I didn't think you could downgrade Magic Kingdom as much as they are, but getting rid of Rivers of America is got to be maybe one of the single worst decisions in Disney's history. So with so many construction walls, and by the way, not even just construction walls, but really bad show, where if you are standing right by Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you can literally look over the wall and see every bit of the construction that they're doing for Piston Peak and Villains Land, and the fact that it's literally villains that destroyed Rivers of America. You couldn't have more of an epitome than that. I mean, I would say that what they are doing at Walt Disney World is the antithesis of Walt would have wanted. By the way, that's Dixie Stampede, not Dolly Stampede. We don't want a bunch of people stampeding over Dolly.
She changed it, not me. I'm changing the name along with her, Ron.
Did she change it to Dolly?
Yeah, Dolly Stampede now. Okay, so Ron, talk to us though about you've been to both parks, and I know that I'm with you. I think Disneyland at this point is better than Magic Kingdom. I mean, I hate to say it. I want Disney's flagship park, Magic Kingdom, to be the best. But walk us through what you think is going on here, Ron, in terms of like, just the level of enjoyment. People are enjoying some of these smaller parks, which are becoming bigger parks real fast. And this list doesn't have Epic Universe as something people could vote on yet. I mean, think about where that's going to land.
No, yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the fact of the matter is, there is a great deal of joy, I would say, personally, even more so than the Disney parks lately, in a place like Silver Dollar City or Dollywood, and perhaps other parks that I've never been to or not aware of. The immersiveness, Dollywood is just beautiful and built into the hills there as you're going to the Smoky Mountains. The surrounding area is gorgeous. Same thing with Branson, Missouri. There are lakes. There are so many other things to do on vacation. I would say that maybe the downside is winter time. That Branson does close during the winter, so you got 2 months of the year, January and February, when the Disney parks now they're shooting up and getting busy during those times where they have all the dancers and the cheerleaders and all of those people come in. Also, they have the marathons that they do at Disney. So there are events to bring people in when those other parks are closed. But there are more options, and people are waking up to the fact that there are more options to take their places. And maybe perhaps when they're not immersed in the same IP that, when their kids are at home and they're stuck in video games and they're stuck watching movies, maybe you want to expand their knowledge a little bit and take them to a place, especially like Silver Dollar City, that really immerses you in American history while Disney's getting rid of that.
Yeah.
That's true indeed. All right. Any other thoughts from the panel on Dollywood versus Disney and how close this now is? By the way, I want to give a shout out to Nobles and some of these other parks that are scoring extremely well. Erica, Culture, your thoughts on where we are today in theme parks?
I can't wait to travel more of the U.S. to theme parks and report back.
That's right. That's right. A lot of regional parks are becoming big national draws. Culture, your thoughts?
I think that if Cedar Fair gets their act together, they can start to be part of a larger conversation. That's an if.
They're in the top 10 now. They're in the top 10.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
They used to be definitely in the top 10.
I'm sorry. They're not. They're not. I said that incorrectly. Cedar Point is number 16 right now.
Yeah. And that was much higher just a few years ago. Again,
still really good. 16 is really high.
Please don't misunderstand. And again, I will be happy to re-rate that park if Cedar wants to talk to me. But I'm just going to say this: a lot of regional parks, as you mentioned, are really coming into their own, and we have new parks coming online in Frisco and other places. Now, Frisco's driven at very young people. It's a kids park, but I'm going to tell you, I fully suspect that we're going to start seeing more and more of those style parks, not necessarily driven by children, but driven to serve like a regional area and take advantage of what that region has to offer, which is again what Silver Dollar City, Dollywood, and all these others do. But you can find a tremendous value in that because it's different from where you come from. And I think that guests are now going to go looking for a reasonably priced vacation that is very dissimilar to what they experience or have available on the daily. And I think that's where a lot of these future theme parks will shine.
There you go.
We'll ride the rides and see the sights, conquer lines, face our frights. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you. Yes, you. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you. Oh, it's a happy holiday with you.
All right, folks, we did indeed hit the goal. We want to thank everybody out there for helping us do so. Let's get the super chats on the screen, and then we'll tell you about Southeast Game Exchange. Bruce Newhouse, member for 7 months, leaving for an 18-day Rhine-Danube River Cruise. We'll have fun on the Rhine. Truly. Get out there and have a good time. That's a great thing. Packing for 5, supposedly a Disney shareholder shared in a newspaper ad that demand Disney sell Disney Plus, seen on the Midnight's Edge in the morning chat. Yes. A major analyst is calling for them to drop streaming. We've been covering that. We've got more videos on the way about that. Tomorrow, I think we have a video releasing about that, so hang tight. Packing Protons will be talking about it. First Dragon Queen for 2, counting down the days till Epic. Hugs for all. Get over there and have a great time. Epic is amazing, and I am hearing that a new land is on the way. Can't say much. Packing Protons for 2 found some WDW photos from 1973, posting soon. I thought I had the time right when you sent me some of those photos earlier. I think I got the date right on that, so looking forward to seeing them. Smiths & Sons for 2, is Universal cheaper? What makes it better? It is slightly cheaper. Not a lot cheaper, but slightly cheaper. Mm-hmm. And what makes Universal better? They, at least at the parks in Orlando, minus the main one, okay? So I'm not going to include Universal proper, although it's not terrible. But Islands of Adventure and Epic Universe are simply technologically and comfort levels a step ahead of Disney right now. They're just significantly better. The rides are better. They're in a different era, I would say.
Volcano Bay is way better.
Yeah. Which, you know what shocked me, Ron, is that Typhoon Lagoon beat Volcano Bay in that TripAdvisor thing.
Yeah, it should not have.
And the other one, what is it named? Some kind of water park. What is it? No, there's one that Whale's Tail Water Park in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Took the number 1 slot for water parks in the country.
What?
I never even heard of it.
Schlitterbahn? I'm surprised.
Yeah. Took number 1.
Wow.
I mean, like a lot of these things like Wolf Lodge and stuff like that are wonderful regional parks.
Mm-hmm.
These are experiences. So yeah.
Check these places out, folks. Go check the TripAdvisor list. Kit Kat for $4.99. Let's get to the bonus segment. We're working on it, Kit Kat, I promise. Riz Kit for a biscuit for $5. Dollywood is superior. That is all. We've got
great to see you risk it for a biscuit. It was good to interact with you for quite some time at the exchange. It was a good time.
That's right. WJB Daily for $5. People vote for Magic Kingdom based on nostalgia. Walt Disney World psyops are real. Dollywood is based on current experience. Pro Knobles is pronounced with a K. It's like nobles with a K. K. I always thought it was nobles. Been corrected. Knobles. Knobles it is. Unless you've tricked me. That's a good trick. You've trolled me well if it does, if the K is silent. PR Berg for $4.99. BG Williamsburg routinely wins most beautiful theme park, full of trees, especially with Colonial Williamsburg. It is a great place to visit. I think it's Busch Gardens. Yeah, I think it's on the list. Let me look and see. I'm looking for who won this year. Okay, it did not make the list overall, but I'm sure it's on there. When they break these down into subcategories, and I'll guarantee you it made it the list for in terms of beautiful parks. I feel like we're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon right now, and I'm going to give the awards for most beautiful park, tidiest park, et cetera, et cetera. All right, folks, we went to Southeast Game Exchange in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina. Folks, if you live in beautiful Greenville, South Carolina, lucky dogs, it's such a nice place. Very humid, but we've got on the screen here what it was like on the floor, and it was excitable. Lots of folks taking a look at things at Southeast Game Exchange. Had a great time interviewing David Weiss, the composer of everything Donkey Kong and Rare. He was the sole composer there for like 14 years. It was amazing. We talked with some folks who make lightsabers, just really cool stuff. Let me go to Culture and Ron. You guys were there. Your thoughts? By the way, there's a $1,200 clay fighter, like new N64 cartridge. It sold for $1,200. Well, not by me. I didn't buy the thing. But Culture, Ron, tell us your experience at Southeast Game Exchange, please.
Look, if you're into the older games and gaming systems and anything like that, this was heaven. In fact, they even had an auction where they sold a giant box of game manuals if you wanted to thumb through all of the old game manuals that we had in our cartridge box.
And who wouldn't, honestly?
I'm just saying. But it was extraordinary because if you wanted an old Lynx or a Jaguar or a Sega Genesis or, they had them all, everything on display. They even had Intellivision, an original Intellivision from the early 80s. And of course there was a Commodore computer there. They had basically everything that you could imagine. They had games for everything. If there's something missing from your collection or you remember having as a kid, like let's say a Muppet Nintendo game, you could buy that. I watched somebody actually buy that while I was there. And it was great in that way. But at the same time, you got kind of an inkling of what's on the horizon. And I think, Ron and I and several others got a chance to play like one of the new games, like this fella here that's pictured, Pro. He worked with Real Life Fake Wizard to make sure that there were plenty of independent games available for people to have a chance to experience. And a lot of people added to their wish lists on Steam this weekend. So you got a chance to play demos and over like several of the games got over 1,000 people that got to try them out in demo mode. I just want to say that this is a unique experience. You get to meet people like Critical Drinker, Pro, Fake Wizard, Marvin Montanaro, who spoke with Caro in a panel that I think was quite brilliant. Well, Ron, what was your experience?
Actually, I want to say that my top moment was seeing Packing Protons live give those $2 over for Wilton's coin.
That's right.
I agree. Yeah, Tom agrees. He liked that moment as well. Wow. Yeah, what Fake Wizard did in promoting and starting to get out there the indie gamers. My son writes games, my oldest son, and so giving him and others that forum to get the independent, not the corporate games out there, so that more people are able to discover those. I think that was a fascinating element of the show. As well as the floor, it was interesting for me. I saw a lot of costumes that you wouldn't normally see, like the costume.
Yeah, like this guy. Yeah, like this guy on the screen. Fake Wizard. Yeah.
Fake Wizard costume. But no, I mean, there was a lot of cosplay that was, of course, cosplay from game characters that you don't often see at a traditional con event, a MegaCon or Comic-Con, because people are doing superheroes there. But this was like a lot of game characters. It was very, very interesting to see, and a lot of things to do. And they did have. I like the fact that there were some special needs areas set up for those kids. They had play areas set up. They had a lot of things for families to do. I saw a lot of people that were bringing their children and felt safe to bring their children to this event. So that was interesting too. And obviously for me, of course, the greatest experience is we see each other so often just online, that's just really, really nice when we get together and are able to exchange our ideas in person. And, there's a lot of people, when you watch a YouTube video or whatever, you're wondering, are those people like that in real life? Or are they really mean? Or were they like Critical Drinker, like nicest, most down to earth guy, gave me some minutes. I have a vlog coming out a little bit later this week that's going to feature him and a few others in it. And everybody's so great. Wizard and Marv and you and everybody, Karen, Sevi, and all the creators that I met, got together, got to eat with, hang out with. I mean, it was a blast. We had a really, really good time, and of course we also had those fans that were coming up to us and talking with us, like you mentioned, Dude Man Cuz. I know he gave money. Him and his wife both great. It's a great opportunity to talk to the people that are out there like you, watching the videos, and we get that feedback in real time, in person, and it helps all of us grow as people. And of course, as Pro will have you know, we all need to keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
That's right. And thank you, and a shout out to everybody. Valiant Renegade, I know, bought dinner for so many people, and that was so kind of him. Critical Drinker was amazing. Want to give a shout out to Fake Wizard and his team, including Isaac, and their work to put out a lot of fires, because when we got there were big problems, and they got to work fixing all kinds of things. But yeah, and David Weiss, again, the composer for Rare, we got to interview him, and what an amazing guy, even down to giving a solo saxophone concert that we'll be posting if we've not already. And I'll give this to Roger Craig. What's his name again? Roger Craig. I can't think of Roger Craig's last name. Jonas will kill me. The voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. Nicest guy ever. So there you go, folks. We had a great time, and really enjoy getting to meet such wonderful folks who have made it to the top, who are, semi-famous at least, and some of them just totally legitimately famous, and yet are just great folks. All right, we're going to get out of here, folks. But before we do, remember, if Ron gets to the dish, you want to go over there and spend time with him. Culture Casino will have all kinds of crazy content from his travels across somewhere sunny USA. And folks, on the way. Erica, what do you got coming on your channel?
Same old. We go live on Fridays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, me and my husband, Raph, and our stream is called Brood Banter. So we just hang out with a lot of you guys, like Ron, and sometimes Culture comes on, Tom F, and we just kind of hang out, talk about the week or whatever's on our minds, really. We don't really have a specific niche. We just hang out with our brew and chat it up. So
there you go.
My channel is Hanging with Erica and Raph on YouTube.
All right. Again, folks, Patreon, go check it out. We've got the full interview with me and Wiz and the drinker. And folks, until the next time, as we say so many times, keep learning, keep growing. And you know what? I think it's not a bad idea. Keep having fun.